Hey, what's up everybody? I got a 1998 Lincoln Navigator 5.4. Man, that's it. We got some engine lights on. System lean bank 1, system lean bank 2. Whenever you have these are a good indication that you have a vacuum leak somewhere. One way to find it is to get you some brake clean or some throttle body carb clean and just spray where the intake manifold touches the engine. And if you hear it revving up like that, whenever you spray it, that's where you know you got a leak at. If you hear it revving up though like that, but basically every time I spray it, you can hear it. So in order to make that check engine light go away, we're gonna have to replace that intake manifold gasket. See, it started running rough now. So we got an intake manifold gasket, the upper and lower gasket. There's your check engine light on right there. Alright. I pulled the codes earlier on this vehicle. First thing we're gonna do, disconnect the battery. What the hell is that? For this thing, basically, you're gonna have to take off the intake, take off the throttle body, everything connected to that. Take off this drive belt, take off the generator. I might be able to leave the generator on, maybe. It says to remove it though, on the service manual. Probably gonna have to remove it though. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be in the way. Okay, alright, let's start on it. Okay, first thing, it's an 8mm right there to disconnect the negative battery cable. Next thing, on this one right here, this was an 8mm also. Disconnected that. Pulled off the mass airflow sensor, electrical connector by squeezing that tab right there. Also the idle air, well, it's probably an intake air temperature sensor or something like that. Basically it's right here. This is kind of rigged up at the time being with a zip tie, but there's just a rubber grommet there, and you can disconnect it by pressing that tab right there. But basically just take off the electrical connector. These right here were 1/4 inch standards. This one and that one, both 1/4 inch. That should allow you to remove these tubes, and then pull that off. And then there's a bracket on the bottom down here, holding this up, which you can either disconnect here or down here. It's up to you. It looks like it's probably going to be easier just to do this right here, and that looks like it might be like a 13mm, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. Yep, 13. So here's the air cleaner on the back, and there's that bracket right there that it's connected to on the bottom. Okay, we got that. Little washer. Take all of this off. Now I'm just putting the washer and the nut back where I removed it from. Alright, next thing you want to do is remove, you have to basically eventually take off the EGR valve. And it also says to disconnect this upper radiator hose to let off the drain some coolant. So probably go ahead and do that. Disconnect this, drain out some coolant. Then we're gonna have to remove this cable. There's a nut right here. Looks like it's a 7 or an 8 millimeter. You're gonna have to disconnect that, lift that cable up, then you can pull it out of the cam right here by turning the cable, moving the cam forward, and that will release the pressure, and then you can just pull it out of there. First I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. Looks like it's probably an 8 millimeter. This is an 8. I'm going to have to back that one out a little bit. So that you can take out that one. Let's put that nut back in there. Maybe slide this forward. You can pull that out. And just kind of hang all this stuff off to the side. Basically, you're going to end up disconnecting everything. I'm trying to put this over here without breaking it. Gotta keep that out of the way. So basically, just take off everything from the throttle body. Take off this electrical connector. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this. All of this is gonna have to come off basically. There's this hose right here. There's another 2 tubes in the back. This is gonna probably have to come off. Go ahead and take this off too. Just put that back. Also, I notice there's a ground strap here. I see somebody zip tied some shit here. I know this is gonna have to come off. So, looking at these 2 hoses right here on the side, these gonna have to come. All these hoses gonna come off right here. 1, 2, 3. Those hoses in the back right there need to come off. There's one right here I took off already, and there's 2, and then 3. Both of those hoses back there. Those 2 right there. They got to come off. EGR valve's gonna have to come off. All of this wire and everything. I'll just put you to the side, out of the way a little bit here. And let me see if I can set you up somewhere so that you can actually see some of this stuff. Alright, so that's that top hose right there, which is actually the wire. I'm actually gonna mark some of this stuff. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna just show you what I've done so far. Okay, so I took the throttle cable up out of there. Basically disconnected everything. EGR valve. There's this I don't know what fucking size this nut is, but I put some PV blast on it, and I put a damn I'm not gonna waste time fucking trying to figure out what damn size it is, but it's a big fucking open end wrench, adjustable wrench, and just put it on there, bam, and just beat it from the top, bam, hit it, and it'll fucking knock it loose. Hopefully on this one it did. It worked. It worked. Fucking worked. So yay, hooray. This right here is a 10. Let's see. This was here. In order to get it off, there's this. There's a what is this? There's a 10 millimeter right here, and then there's another one right here. Man, it's just hold it on right there, and that little hole right there, and that hole. Just take those 2 off. Take out that electrical connector, and then you've got these 2 right here, which I've marked green, so that you know, I don't get them confused when I'm going back. So anyways, you got that right there. Electrical connector there needs to be taken out. Right there. Set that to the side. This right here is the bracket for the basically sits right there, and then there's 1, 2, 3 bolts holding it in, which I've put them back where they are so that they don't get them confused. We are going to have to take off the generator. I've already started unplugging the coil packs. You're going to have to take out all the coil packs. Just go ahead and take them out, unplug them. Along with the fuel injectors, just unplug the fuel injectors. But you're going to have to take out the coil packs. When you take out these 3 tubes, this one in the middle is going to have coolant in it. So be prepared to catch coolant. There are 4 8 millimeter bolts holding in the throttle body. There's there's one back there, one right there, and then there's one back there in the corner, and then another one straight down right there. You take those 4 out, and then all you do is pull off this tube connecting right here, and then there's an electrical connector right here which you need to unplug. I just left this cable connected right there, which is not going to bother anyone, and that also saves me from having to pull off the EGR valve. I just did the tube. But here you see where the 4 bolts are. 1, 2, 3, and 4, the little shiny spots. Those are 8 millimeters. This is going to be the long bolt. So out of your 4 bolts right here, the long one goes in that tall spot. So that's what brought us to this point right here. Also, I took off this ground wire, which is sitting here like that. That's a 10 millimeter, and I'm just gonna push it up, tuck it up here for now, and put the bolt back in place just to stay out of my fucking way. So there we go. We got all this. Might have to take off this 10 right here. What is this? Looks like some kind of wire here. Another ground or something. Yeah, we're gonna have to take that off. Maybe. Actually, no. We can leave that on there. I think we can leave that one on there. No? Yeah, we're gonna have to take it off. Or you can just unplug it. Yeah, probably just unplug it. That's what we do. Just lift up on that tab right there, pull it out. Alright, same deal on this one right here. What else do we have over here? This thing is almost ready to come out of here. I'm gonna just go ahead and take out the generator. First, you gotta have to take off the drive belt, and there's a tensioner, and we're gonna put a 3/8 drive socket right into this hole in the front of the tensioner. There's a 3/8 drive hole right there. Yeah, I'm going to do that now, and then start taking off the generator, and then I'll go ahead and start taking out all the coil packs, get everything cleaned up on both sides, disconnected all the coil packs, and the fuel injectors. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm going down, and there's the coil packs right there. Okay, so anyway, there's the coil packs right there, and basically I'm just going down a line, 7 millimeter swivel socket, and just going down the line, taking them out. There's the last one right there, and then I've got 1, 2 more right there. Just going down, taking them out. And basically what I've done is the alternator, there's only there's 3 10 millimeters holding it in. There's one right there, there's a 10 millimeter right there, and then there's 2 10s right here and right here holding it in. And then there's a 10 millimeter on top right here for the battery positive. And then you've got 2 electrical connectors on it right here, which I didn't even take off. All I did is I lifted it up and moved it to the side, and then I took these wires and kind of tucked them under this bracket. All these tubes on this side, tucked them under that bracket just to keep them from flopping over here. Same thing with all these wires. I just took them back and kind of moved them behind this behind the power steering fluid reservoir, and just kind of wrapped everything around this, just to keep it out of the way. Went ahead and disconnected these electrical connectors right here by just taking a flathead and sticking it under that tab right there. That's sticking up, and then popping it loose right there, and also on this side. Basically, we're almost home free. There is that electrical connector right there, and I also took off this 10 millimeter right here, which was holding something in. I forget what it was at this point. And I came in and took this off right here, this tube, which I've got right there. Just went ahead and go ahead and take it all the way off. It's optional. You can take off these tins right here and take off this bracket if you want to. It's optional. And also the fuel lines, I've pushed the tabs off. I'm going to take a quick disconnect tool and shove it down on those fuel lines right there. Push it down, and I'm going to push those fuel lines back. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Okay, now for this next step, I'm just disconnecting the fuel lines right here. So what I have done, see if I can focus this damn thing. Alright, so I got these quick disconnect tools. Let's see, this is a 5/8 that I'm using now, and this is a 1/2 inch. So the 1/2 inch I used on the one on the right here to disconnect it. The 5/8 I have right now. Now what you do, you want to use the smallest one possible. On this side right here, it's a 1/2 inch. On this side right here, it's a 5/8. You take this tool, slide it down on there, and just push it until it goes inside. You can push up towards you with the line, push down in there. You want to get the tool down in there, and then you can push the line back. And basically I feel it disconnected now. But there, basically it's off now. I can move it back and forth now. There it is right there. But that's how you take those lines off. Just you're gonna have to have a quick disconnect tool. You can get this set right here at any auto parts store for like 10 bucks. Or you can use, I got the master set right here. I think this was like 50 or 60 bucks for the whole set. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do, that's gonna allow me to take, basically I've disconnected the fuel rail, so now I don't have to take the fuel rail or the fuel injectors out. So basically all I got to do is take out the rest of the spark plugs, and then I can just go on ahead and start unbolting the intake manifold itself, there are 9 bolts on the outside. Here 2, 3 down in there. Let me see if I can get a flashlight or something. There's one right there. 2 right there. 3, 4. That's going to be a bitch to get to. And so are those in the back. Alright. Okay, so at this point now, I've got the intake manifold to where I can lift up on it. When you do this, you might see some coolant come out of these between the intake manifold and the head, if you haven't already drained enough fluid out. If not, don't worry about it. Just blow it out of the spark plug holes, so you don't have coolant down in the pistons and stuff like that. Alright, there's a couple points. Alright, the bolts to get this out. One right there. One right there. I'm gonna show you when I take this out too. Right there. That's one hole. There's another one right there. There's another one right there. And then, you see that tube right there? This one right here. There's a hole right there behind it. Let me see if you can see that. Right there. It's really hard to see it. I don't know if you can see like the top of it, but there's like, there's a bolt right behind. Just know that there's a bolt right behind this tube that you need to take out. That's the last one on that one. All right, on this side, you need to take out these two thermostat bolts. Right here and right here. Right, 2, 3 right there. 4 right there, 5 right there, and then the 6th one is going to be a bitch. You see this wiring harness right here? It starts right here. If you follow that wiring harness all the way back down here, that wiring harness is covering that last bolt right here in the back. So what you need to do is take the wiring harness, pull it this way, and you can get a socket on top of it. Or you can get one of these, put it under the wiring harness and on top of the bolt. So let's see, the bolt's right here and the wiring harness is going to be right on top of it. You get this, put it on the bolt, wiring harness is going to be on top of your wrench now, and it's going to be really hard to turn. So what I did is, as it's sitting here, I took an extension like a 3/8 drive, held it up against the end right here, and then came out here with a hammer and I'm hitting the extension out here, pushing on the wrench that way. But that's how I got it loose. So, got all the bolts out. Next thing we're gonna do, oh yeah, one more thing. Right back there is a tube. That tube right there, which is right here. So what you do is you need to push it that way, with either a screwdriver, or if you have something that with an angle, like a pry bar with a little angle at the end, that's even better. Or you get some big, like a larger version of these, grab it and then push it off. It's just pretty easy with a screwdriver. I think that's about it. Other than all the spark plugs, all the the coil packs are removed, which are those guys right there. So we took all the coil packs out. Let me see if I can focus. Alright. Alright, so anyways, I'm ready to take this out of here. And if you notice, that's coming out with it right there. So you need to unplug that right there. It's like your intake manifold, part of the lower intake manifold, like the resonator or something like that. Or whatever it's called. The hold on. 2 hands required. Alright. Now we're gonna pull this thing out of here. Oh yeah, and you got a tube back there. Probably needs to come out. Anyway, that's it right there. There's your intake manifold. Upper intake manifold. There's a tube right there that you need to disconnect. Also, that tube right there at the very top. You need to disconnect it at the top. So I'm gonna just pull it out a little bit so I can get to the back of that tube easier. Okay, so there is the Starship intake manifold right there. It looks kind of like something off of Star Trek, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's one bolt right there, 2 bolts, 3, 4. There's your 5th one right there. That motherfucker is a bitch to get to. Well, actually, that one's not that bad. That one's not that bad. The bad one is this one right here on this side. Show you what I'm talking about. Alright. So, these, there it is, one right there, number 2 right there, 3 right there, and the 4th one is right there, last one right there, right past the fuel injector. But there's a damn wiring harness right on top of it, which is going to make it a bitch. So anyways, don't forget to unplug that right there. And this hose right here, that was somewhat of a pain in the ass to get off. It's a flathead screwdriver or an 8mm holding that on, which I'll show to you. And this is what it's going to look like if you don't drain out the coolant. So anyways, we got to clean all that shit up. What the fuck is all this? I don't know what the hell that came from. Let's put that up there. Oh, there's my damn 10mm socket also. Come here, I was looking for that. This is it right here. But that's a 8mm or a flathead, whatever you want to use there. And don't forget to, like, if you haven't disconnected this, that's your fuel injector right there. That got stuck. But that's it. And there's your there's like an ECT temperature ECT sensor right here. And there's your intake manifold gasket right there. One of them right there. One of them right here. That's what we're replacing right here. And like you can see right there, how it's tore right there. And it's like there's just a bunch of damn shit right there on that one. Like a big old chunk of fucking dirt and gunk. I don't know, maybe that happened when I was taking it off. I don't know. That shit is fucking filthy right there. Alright. Anyhow, we're gonna clean it up really, really good. Get all this crap out of here. We'll blow some damn compressed air in here. Get all that fucking coolant out of here. And then we're gonna separate the upper intake manifold from the lower, which is what I've started doing right here. You can see it right there already. And to do that, line this thing up. You got I'll just go ahead and turn it. Maybe we can get to it like that, yeah. There's only one bolt left right there, but there, there's a bolt right there, one right there, one right there, there. That's it, I think. Oh yeah, there's one right there also. But I just got one left holding in it. It was just like a bitch to get to it. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna just take it out once I got everything else taken out. These are 8mm right here. These are 8s. The ones on the outside are 10s. Okay, I just took the last bolt out, and basically you're just going to be seeing me separate the upper and lower intake manifold. So I just took that last bolt out that was right back there. You can just take this off. So this is your lower intake manifold gasket, goes right here, and then your upper intake manifold gaskets are the two on the sides right there. But while we have this off, we might as well just clean it out really good. There's the gasket right there. But that's what we're replacing, is that gasket. What we're going to do is just clean this off really good. Same with the bottom. We'll clean all this crap off and clean all that crap off down there. And we'll put our new gasket in there, and that should take care of our intake manifold leak. Alright, so basically I took it out, cleaned it up. There's the old ones. If you notice, on the old ones there's these tabs that kind of stick out right there. Here it is on the lower intake manifold gasket. Well, these tabs right here have like a corresponding hole right here, so I've got the new one in, and basically I just lay this down, put the gasket on, line up the tabs, then put that on, and then I'm just working here because it's a little bit easier. I've got that all pretty much cleaned up, so I got the making surface clean on both sides, and I'm just going to take the new gasket now and just lay it on top of there, and the holes will line up. Alright, so basically I've already put the new gasket in there and started tightening everything down. Make sure you if you take this out, I took it out, it's like the this part right here, that where this plug is, that's kind of like just like for the air intake, resonator, idle, stuff like that. I forget what the hell the damn top of the head, I forget what the damn part number, the name is, but make sure you put that on before you drop all of this in there and start bolting down the intake, because you know this right here, you're gonna have to lift it up in order to slide that in, or I actually have that, it's best just go ahead and put it in before, you know what I'm saying, you drop this down in there. So make sure you got that in there first. Another thing, before you start actually tightening down these bolts on the intake, those two coil packs in the back, this one and that one, make sure you got those two coil packs in first, before you start tightening things down. Otherwise you're gonna have to come in on this side of the fuel rail and kind of get them down in there between that fuel rail and those lines, and it's real tight, and it's real easy if you can, you know, lift up on the intake manifold just a little bit, and you can kind of slide them in there a little bit easier. Also, don't forget to make your connection at the very back of right back there, which is like that little right there, little intake port right there. I bought a new one from Advanced Auto Parts, so that was good. And then I went ahead and tightened up, connected my fuel lines all right over there. All you do is just push them on, push them in. Got those in there, and I went ahead and start doing putting the coil packs in, and then putting on the electrical connections for the fuel rail. So right now we're just putting everything back together now. I'm gonna put this bracket in, put the throttle body back on. I got a new throttle body gasket, came with the intake manifold gasket, so we're gonna ahead and put that on there. Yep. Yep, that's gonna be that right there. So anyways, go and put the throttle body on next. I'm put the generator on last. Once you got the throttle body on, then you can put all the hoses on and stuff like that, and make your electrical connections. And that's basically it then. Alright, so basically you got put all that together. But anyways, once you got the intake on, first thing I do is get the throttle body on there. When you do this, that bolt right there in the back, the long one, right there. There's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That one on the back left corner. Put that in first. Slide the throttle body back, drop it down, and then put it on. Otherwise, you can't get that bolt in there. After you get that in, basically it's just remembering where the hell your damn pipes were. So what I did, like you see there, I've got white and white. Hey, what's up everybody? Okay, so the point of the video is basically, oops, where's the shit at? Alright, so the point basically is just to show you that if you got the code of a System Lean Bank 1, System Lean Bank 2, that you usually have a air leak, an intake leak somewhere, and it usually is the intake gasket. Well, I'm not gonna say it's usually. Best thing to do is either smoke test it or do like I did with the carb clean, the brake clean. You need to find the leak first. You need to find out before you go replacing shit. I mean, one thing to pull codes and say, okay, it's probably intake leak. Another thing is like to really find out exactly where it is. You know, you can blow smoke with a smoke tester through the intake, and then wherever you see it coming out at, you have a leak there. Or, you know, with the car running, spray it with the carb clean, and find out where it's leaking and where it's getting air from. Another thing is, okay, so in this situation, it worked. So, customer got the car, drove it. That check engine light has not come back on for that code, and he's had it. It's been like a month. However, it had like a random misfire whenever you're driving, and accelerating is okay, coasting is okay, but whenever you're like kind of like just driving and then you just like kind of tap on the gas, you'll feel it vibrating like it's kind of misfiring, and that's what it was doing, because what happened was when I took off the intake manifold, I didn't drain the coolant all the way down. I drained the coolant, but it didn't all come out. So if you don't do that, there's still going to be coolant in the top of the engine. So what happened was when I pulled off the intake, boom, all the coolant came out. It went down into the spark plug holes. It went down into the top of the valves, everything. And what I did is I blew it out with compressed air. I saw there was coolant in there. I know that's not good for the engine. So you blow it out, clean it out as good as best you can. However, I've seen this before, so I knew what it was just immediately. Just by, you know, the way it drove and everything, I could tell what it was. So what happened is you know, shaking whenever you hit the gas, like when you're coasting. So I had to replace the spark plugs. So if you know, get coolant and you see it get on top of the spark plugs, even if you clean it out, you might as well just go on ahead and replace the spark plugs. If that happens, I'm advising you just to go ahead and replace them. I mean, you're that far into the engine, you've got the coil packs off. I mean, it's too easy not to replace the spark plugs versus having to go back into it, which is what I had to do, is go back into the engine, take spark plugs, you know, coil packs back off, and replace the spark plugs. And I mean, that car, and also I did an oil change too, just because I knew that the coolant got down onto the top of the valves. Maybe some valves were open. It could have got down. Some of it could have got down to the top of a piston or something like that. Possibly, maybe. So you always, you know, after you see that, you do an oil change. You know, make sure you blow it out, clean it out. Whatever you gotta do, suck it out, stick a little tube down in there and pull some out. Whatever you gotta do. But you damn sure don't want like coolant getting to the engine onto the top of the spark plugs, you're gonna have misfires and problems and stuff like that. So anyways, learn from my mistakes. But anyways, system lean bank 1, system lean bank 2, usually a good indication you got a vacuum leak. Sometimes they're just real simple, like a little elbow tube or something like that. Sometimes you'll hear it, you'll hear it like hissing and stuff like that. So either compressed air, carb clean, brake clean while the engine's running, or cut the car off. If you got a smoke tester, blow smoke into the intake, and you'll see it leaking out somewhere. Alright, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.